very good evening. Welcome to the weekend. The day is October the 28th, 2022, a day that the President's cabinet is fully constituted and it's all systems go as they now have the responsibilities that lay before them. We have that story and so much more lined up for you in today's bulletin. This is Look Up Weekend. I am Nelima. Welcome to the broadcast. But before we get into the business, let's have the highlights.
The news headlines in association with
On Look Up Weekend tonight.
I promised my people that every morning I will be in my office and every afternoon nitakuwa ground kusaidia watu wa Meru. This has not been received so well by my people, especially the politicians.
Embattled Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza appears before the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission over allegations of abuse of office.
You know there's no COVID, we can shake hands.
Yeah, now we can shake hands.
A host of new cabinet secretaries report to their respective ministerial offices to complete the handover process from their predecessors. And President William Ruto's administration will not close down businesses over tax disputes.
We have told KRA to create a friendly tax regime. The issue of closing factories for taxpayers who are suffering is a thing of the past because it is foolish.
Says Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua as he promises a conducive environment for businesses to thrive.
Yippee! Kamata plotting at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
And welcome to the broadcast. The hashtag is Look Up Weekend across all our social media platforms at Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our official YouTube channel. And we begin. Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has dismissed claims of nepotism and conflict of interest in her administration, as has been alleged by the EACC. While speaking to the media outside Milimani Law Courts on Friday, Kawira clarified that her husband is a volunteer as a youth patron and will not get any single shilling from the county. Mwangaza also dared the MCAs to impeach her, terming the impeachment threats as hot air.
Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has embarked on a journey to defend her reign and name from allegations of gross misconduct, the EACC being the first stop where a case of her abuse of office still lingers in the corridors of the Integrity Center. The first-time governor, who won on an independent ticket, however, says the allegations before the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission that she practiced nepotism and conflict of interest by employing her relatives are unfounded and a witch hunt.
Na hakuna makosa nimefanya na nimejibu the EACC allegations ambazo zilipelekwa na MCS because najua hawa ndio walipeleka and I know the person behind the whole thing walipeleka. I have answered to EACC. Maybe sina makosa hata kidogo, ni siasa. Na Moi, the late president, alisema siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Kwa hivyo wanasiasa wa Meru, waacheni siasa mbaya, tutakuwa na maisha mbaya. Na mama atasimama kidete. Nataka kusema serikali ya mama iko imara.
EACC CEO Twalib Mbarak in a letter had warned the first-time governor of nepotism in a case where she is said to have employed her spouse Murega Baishu as the youth service patron and ambassador for Hustlers. Mbarak further raised an issue with the fact that he was attending official county functions and issuing directives to county workers despite not being a public officer. Mwangaza is also accused of employing two of her sisters, one as a personal assistant and another as a security personnel. The governor says the appointments done at the county are within the law.
Mume wangu ako hapa. He has never received a single coin from the government. Na hakuna wakati atalipwa na serikali. He is doing it voluntarily kusaidia vijana wetu na alipwi na mtu. Wengine wanasema governor ameandika dada yake akiwa askari. Your bodyguard anapaswa kwenda vetting. Is your bodyguard supposed to go the process ambaye ni competitive ndio upate bodyguard? Yes, I'm entitled to more than 3 of them. What's wrong if I get one of them being my sister? Na sijamuajiri, ameajiriwa na Kenya Police. I just requested like any other person. Nimeona viongozi wengi sana hata rais wetu. Mbona asimamiwi na yule alikuwa wa rais wa hapo kale?
Mwangaza is also at the risk of being the first governor under President William Ruto's administration to lose her job through an impeachment after a petition was filed by Ameru residents citing alleged gross misconduct and abuse of office.
Na hii ingine impeachment wanasema ati wataleta wamesponsor imeenda kila mahali, hiyo sasa ndio tunaita hot hair. Wacha wapeleke hiyo impeachment kwa bunge. Ikipita kwa bunge wapeleke Senate. Ikipita huko twende High Court. I'm ready to defend myself because I know I've done nothing wrong. Hiyo ni kujaribu kuchafulia mtu jina ati Meru.
The activist Thuranira Celestio Mutuma has pleaded with the county assembly to consider his petition as urgent and since it is public interest. Mutuma wants an investigation done into the allegations of gross misconduct and abuse of office and finally the assembly to summon the governor. The assembly speaker will have to establish if the petition has met the requisite threshold and later issue directions. Brian Amuai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mwai, for that report. Now, a day after they were sworn into office before President William Ruto at State House in Nairobi, the majority of the newly appointed cabinet secretaries have today taken full responsibility of their respective ministries. The handover ceremonies were conducted in various government offices as the new cabinet secretaries were appropriated on the task ahead of them and introduced to the staff they will work with for efficient performance of their duties. Our reporter Henry Tender looks at how the handover unfolded and files the following report.
It was a beehive of activities in various government offices as newly appointed cabinet secretaries officially received the mandate to serve the people of Kenya. The men and women that are now tasked with huge responsibility of helping President William Ruto to deliver services to the citizens, getting a feel of what lays ahead of them.
There's no COVID, we can shake hands.
Yeah, now we can shake hands.
At the Ministry of Information and Communication, the outgoing Joe Musheru handed over the office to Eliud Owalo.
We were able to pass with distinction and are happy that we've been able to leave the ministry with a base and a foundation that you'll be able to steer and grow.
Let me repeat emphatically. We are here to leverage on technology for purposes of job creation and generation of wealth. We are here to lead in making Kenyan an empowered and rich digital society. That is our vision and mission.
Owalo making clear his plan to effect changes at the ministry to create digital jobs for majority of the youth.
We are all going to be measured based on our tangible and visible performance at all levels. Clear expected outputs, clear output indicators, clear responsibility centers, and clear targets. Kenyans are watching and waiting. I have no doubt that we are all more than ready for this and indeed equal to the task.
Elsewhere, Professor Margaret Kobia has handed over the Ministry of Public Service and Gender to the incoming Aisha Katana Jumwa.
You don't have to ask anybody a question?
Jumwa underscoring the importance of ensuring gender equality and eliminating gender-based violence.
I will work to ensure that we have an efficient and effective public service.
Others who received their offices today include former Bundalangi Member of Parliament Ababu Namwamba, who is taking over from Ambassador Amina Mohamed as the Sports Cabinet Secretary. Ezekiel Machogu has taken over the Ministry of Education from his predecessor, Professor George Magoha. At the Lands Ministry, Zakaria Mwangi Njeru took over responsibilities of this crucial ministry from Farida Karonei. Penina Malonza, whose nomination was dogged with uncertainty, was at the Ministry of Tourism to take over from the outgoing Najib Balala. It was the same scene at the Ministry of Environment as Keriako Tobiko handed over the running of the ministry to Soipan Tuya. At the office of the Attorney General, it was all smiles as Justin Turi was taken through his roles by the outgoing Kihara Kariuki. The cabinet secretaries promising to work hard to ensure President William Ruto remains true to his mandate of bettering the lives of Kenyans. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
And still staying on the cabinet secretary, with President William Ruto's cabinet now fully constituted after the 24 appointees were sworn in and have now been handed over power by their predecessors. What lies ahead now is the delivery of their work in their respective dockets. In our daily segment of Your Opinion Matters, we ask, do you think the new cabinet secretaries will deliver?
Franklin Mithika Linturi, being a cabinet secretary of...
That I will obey the authority of the President.
In Nairobi. Today, in our daily segment of Your Opinion Matters, we're asking Kenyans if they believe that the new CSS will be able to perform. Let's listen to some of their views.
Nina imani kulingana na vile rais aliongea na kujaribu kutilia mkazo kwa wote ambao watazembea katika utendakazi wao, najua watajukumika.
Tutaitikia tu yenye iko, yenye imekuja ndio tutaitikia, sababu sisi sio Mungu. Mungu ndio anapanga, ndio anapangua, unaona hivyo, ndio anapea mtu cheo na ndio anauteremsha. So unaona hapo, hiyo aliyote ni ya Mungu, tutaacha Mungu sisi.
Tunaomba tu Mungu awasaidie ili waweze kutupeleka mbali, waweze kutuondoa katika hiyo kitengo tuko.
Sina imani nao, kwa sababu kitu ya kwanza ukiona kama magavana wako na easy case, kina Aisha Juma na hao wengine wako na kashifa. So mimi sina uhakika na hao mawaziri, naona hawatatekeleza kazi. Kuna baadhi ya wabunge kule ndani, magavana wako na kesi. Hizo kesi zingeshughulikiwa kwanza, ndio at least tujue watafanya kazi. Juu mtu hawezi kuwa na kesi ya mauaji na anasema anataka kuongoza wananchi. Ataongozaje wananchi na ako na kesi ya mauaji, ako na kesi ya ufisadi? So vitu zingine lazima serikali waangalie.
Ile tuna imani nayo tu ni Mungu tu ndiye ataingililia, atuangalie tu na aweze kutupikania. Lakini imani ati tuwaseme wale minister nini, juu hata ile debate walikuwa naulizwa, walikuwa wamesemekana watatu wata qualify, lakini wote wameshakula kiapo. Sasa wote wamepatiwa ile minister, sasa wanaendelea na kufanya.
Kama wewe umechaguliwa, kama wewe ni minister, kwa ile yako umechaguliwa, wewe jitahidi wewe deliver ile kitu important na kitu ile mzuri kwa mwananchi.
That is what Kenyans had to say in regards to the new CSS. Reporting for Lookuptv, I'm Marlon Alando, Nairobi.
Thank you, Marlon, for that report. And we are taking a very short break, but let's keep the conversation going across all our social media platforms, and do let us know what your thoughts are on the new cabinet secretaries that have now assumed office at Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. We take that break. Don't go too far.
Raundi hii Loto iko ground kuimarisha maisha na zawadi chungu nzima. Kuwa miongoni mwa washindi na uimarike leo. Shinda $500,000 guaranteed daily cash vouchers, unga wa kila siku na zawadi chungu nzima. Kila Jumamosi chomoka na a brand new Pro Box na mega cash kuanzia shilingi milioni 5 hadi shilingi milioni 100. Ingia kwa M-Pesa, weka paybill number 77700, account name Luke. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 50 na shilingi 1000, ujiimarishe na Loto.
Changamka, cheza Loto.
Over 18s only.
Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
For all your football, F1, and World Cup kits, Carrington Sportswear Hub is your plug for quality, sporty merchandise. Call us on 0703 484 481.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Lookuptv. The hashtag is LookupWeekend. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has assured investors and business owners of the full government support, saying they will remove unnecessary hurdles that prevent investors from bringing business into the country. Rigathi also noted that the bureaucratic tendencies that were normalized in the previous administrations would be a thing of the past in the Kenya Kwanza administration.
We were particularly impressed by the manufacturing small and medium enterprises, SMEs, who demonstrated their ingenuity and innovations. They are very promising. We need to incorporate them into mainstream production. They are part of the answer to food security. I'm optimistic that the conducive business environment the Kenya Kwanza government is cultivating will revitalize and allow for a bounce back. We must collectively back this sector into an upward trajectory. Dire situation we are in calls for robust, sustainable and long-lasting solutions to drive Kenya into an agricultural powerhouse. This is because we have a lot of land suitable for crop and animal production into surplus. When we reach the surplus production, it will support our economy beyond the current contribution of 22.4% to the GDP, while creating more than 40% of jobs. One of the ways of surmounting the food crisis is bringing more of the cultivatable land under irrigation as envisioned in our manifesto. We have told KRA to create a friendly tax regime. The issue of closing factories for taxpayers who are suffering is a thing of the past because it is foolish. The issue of tax notices and agency notices, where you close accounts. If you shut down an account for 6 months, somebody cannot do business. Where will you collect tax the following year?
Let's now head over to the western region, where a family of more than 10 people has been forced to brave the cold night after a tree fell on their house in the wee night hours, causing great damage. Our reporter Pres Kanjere brings us this report and more from Kakamega County.
Julius Mate's family was rudely awakened from their sleep when this tree, said to be over 100 years old, fell on their house through the roof with a bang.
Hii mti ilianguka saa 9:30 usiku. Tulikuwa tumelala na mama na mtoto yule ya shule, ameenda shule mtoto wa klasi 8. Tulisikia kama watu wakipika nyumba mawe, nikafikiria ni mawe. Kumbe taka ya kushutuka nikaona ni miti inaanguka. Sasa nikashindwa tafanya nini? Na hii miti iko hapa karibu kwa miaka 100.
According to residents, the tree which was infested with bees was rotting on the inside, leaving it vulnerable to the whirlwind. The family is now calling on the county government to intervene and help them rebuild another home.
Kuokoa vitu kwa nyumba. So vitu ambazo zimeharibika kwa nyumba ni vitu mingi, mabati ndio hizo nini, na sisi wenyewe hatuna uwezo saa hizi. So tunaomba mwisani yote ambaye yako karibu ambaye anaweza sikia kilio hichi atusaidie na tuweze kukamilisha hii mradi ambayo imetuangukia siku ya leo.
And still in Kakamega, a family from Shinyalu is crying for justice over the defilement of their 13-year-old girl who was allegedly raped by their neighbor, a boda rider.
Sasa mbona mnakuja kuharibu watoto watoko?
Watoto watoko si wanawake. Hao ni watoto tunategemea maisha ya baadaye. Kijana umetukosea sana.
Reports indicate that the 7th grade student at Sitochi School was reportedly raped on 12th October after the boda rider took her grandmother to Kakamega town to repair her phone and came back alone.
Huko nikakuta mtoto hayuko na mvua imenyesha. Ilikuwa karibu saa 11 sasa. Nimefika hapo saa 11. Akasema ati baba nilienda alishika kwake akafanya mimi maneno mbaya.
Her plea now to the government.
Serikali ichukue hatua kwa vijana kama hawa ndio wakuwe na adabu. Kwa maana kama huyu ashikwi watasema tu ni hivyo tu anaendelea na hiyo tabia, na hiyo ni tabia mbaya.
Pris Kanjeri, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Pris Kanjeri, for that story. Now, in an effort to boost tourism, the Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, and the International Tree Foundation have scaled up a project to conserve wetlands around Saiwa Swamp National Park in Kitale, Trans Nzoia County. The wetlands are said to be feeding and breeding grounds for the endangered Sitatunga antelope, grey-crested cranes, and Dibraza monkeys, and over 300 species of birds. The program has seen the planting of 30 indigenous seedlings at the Kipsaina wetlands in Kitale along river banks.
Following drastic changes in climatic conditions, there has been a huge decline of wetland wildlife in the country, and this, coupled with deforestation, has continued to endanger the future of rivers, forests, wildlife, and food production. In a project that has engaged surrounding communities, Kipsain Crane and wetland conservation groups in Trans Nzoia County has provided farmers around the wetlands with alternative environment-friendly activities such as fruit tree planting.
We are doing indigenous food security, particularly food crops that are what you can put in parentheses that are orphaned. These are drought resistant. We are able to empower communities so that they are able to restore and propagate and cultivate these fruits.
The program has also seen the creation of buffer zones by planting indigenous trees to protect Sitatunga antelopes, grey-crested cranes, and the Brazos monkeys breeding areas in the wetlands.
These trees will also assist in controlling soil erosion. As a result, we will have a healthy wetland where even man can also draw some clean water.
Records from KWS indicates that only 250 of the Sitatunga antelope remain in the country. Uasin Gishu County hosts 40 at the Keses scheme, while Saiwa National Park in Trans Nzoia County hosts 60 of the species. Nandi County's Kingwal Swamp hosts 150 of the species. KWS further stated that in the 1970s, the population of cranes in Kenya stood at 30,000, but according to the 2019 census, the number has dropped to 8,000 cranes.
Once these trees are grown to maturity, we shall have several wildlife coming back. Bird species, besides the cranes, we will also have the turacos, blue turaco, we have migrant birds.
The wetlands around Saiwa Swamp National Park are reportedly threatened due to human activities, deforestation, and climatic changes.
What we've been able to do mostly is to restore the degraded areas in terms of replanting tree seedlings, most of which the species that were there before, and we are working with the communities together with this Kipsaina Wetland Conservation Group to save the Sitatungas outside the protected areas amongst other wildlife species.
Over 30,000 seedlings have since been planted over the last 6 months. The project has also supported establishment of satellite tree nurseries in different parts of Western Kenya, initiated projects and supporting innovations that dissuade charcoal burning aimed at minimizing deforestation.
We have a rationale of focusing on threatened forests and their associated biodiversity. Particularly in Kenya, we have a total of 1,100 species, indigenous species, but out of it, we have 142 that are threatened with extinction.
The semi-aquatic Sitatunga, according to Mr. Rono, is threatened by both poaching, who believe its meat has medical and mystical powers. It doesn't stop at that. The species has also witnessed encroachment on its habitat.
We've been able to restore the degraded areas where Sitatungas are now thriving very well. We have staple numbers outside the protected areas, and we have also staple numbers in terms of crested crown creels that are now doing very well around Kipsaina wetlands.
60% of the land restoration opportunities and potential are said to lie within the agro-forest systems. The cooperation between communities and other partners hopes to sustain population for posterity. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookuptv.
Now, lawyer Miguna on Friday returned to his ancestral home in Nyando ever since being deported 5 years ago. Miguna landed in the lakeside city under tight security, seemingly as a precaution after a section of residents had earlier threatened a hostile reception. The lawyer was received at Kisumu International Airport by former Kisumu Senator Fred Oute. Miguna, while addressing the media, promised to continue pursuing justice and ensuring there is adherence to the rule of law.
Yes, 1 minute.
You're pushing me.
Okay.
We will seek and get justice, because without justice, there can never be reconciliation and there can never be peace. Peace must be based on justice. Peace and reconciliation cannot be based on falsehoods, on lies, on propaganda, on political hatchet jobs, which is what we've had for the last 5 years. So I thank the government for understanding the significance of the rule of law. It is not a privilege for me to come home. It is my right. I shouldn't be thanking anyone to be allowed to come home. Just like you guys, after here, you will go home and you will not thank anyone for being able to go home.
We want to welcome you as the people of Kisumu to be able to join in the nation building. While you are away there, you know the president is Dr. William Samoei Ruto. And that's why we are grateful to him. We want to thank him sincerely for allowing you to come back home, because we know the previous government could not allow you to be here. But we are yet to know why you could not come to your motherland.
Yeah.
So, you are ready?
Yes.
Women from different tribes in Kilifi County have held cultural exhibitions to unite residents as many were divided during the recent electioneering period. The women have vowed to restore peace and prevent social conflict. This and more stories in our county roundup.
Event that seeks to foster peace in the coast region, the head of Women for Peace and Security in Kilifi County, Merab Shibuyanga, explained that there is a need for residents of the coastal area to embrace all traditions in maintaining peace. The cultural exhibitions are under the Uchaguzi Bila Bala project and have been implemented by the Muslims of Human Rights and Search for Common Ground, funded by the European Union.
Tuko hapa kukumbushana kwamba tunaweza changanya culture ambazo zinastahili na tukaachana na zile potovu ama zile mbaya na tukajaribu kujenga jamii kama kina mama.
Meanwhile, stakeholders in the digital technology sector have asked the government and private departments to strengthen the security of network services with the goal of promoting business and digital money. Speaking at the 2022 Conference of the Digital Communications, the Director of Technology, Dominic Kamenyi, has said that there is a need for more motivation of the citizens to make them aware of the importance of online services.
Nchi yetu ichukue mambo hii na ijaribu kufunza, kuwaeleza ndio waelewe kwa nini kuna umuhimu wa kutumia teknolojia. Wanajua, lakini wanaona wakati wanatumia teknolojia either mambo yao itajulikana.
In other news, police officers in Kisses, Uasin Gishu County, are investigating the murder of a woman who is said to have been killed by a man whom she is said to have had a romantic relationship with.
Kama chochote kimeharibika angefuata sheria. Sio vizuri, hata mimi siwezi fikiri kuwa mtu umue kwa nini na sheria iko, angeenda mshtaki.
Elsewhere, leaders of the Interfaith Council in Garissa County have called for an immediate dialogue between religious leaders, peacekeepers and government stakeholders from Kitui and Garissa County to end conflicts between herders and farmers in Mutha area, Kitui South. The leaders have advised the residents against taking the law into their own hands, asking them to report such cases to the police department, who will follow and solve them.
Wenzetu wa Somali
enda kulisha ngamia yao na mbuzi na ng'ombe pale, tunawaomba wadumishe amani na pia wakuwe na heshima wale ambayo wamefika kwao.
Mitaruan, Lookuptv.
And from the counters, we take another very short break. But when we come back, I'll run you through some business news and, of course, some sporting action.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Yippee! Kamata plotting at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
And welcome back. Thank you for staying with Lookup Weekend. Time now for some business news. The blueprint to support Kenya's 100% transition to renewable energy has been rolled out by the Energy Association of Kenya. The association has called on the government to adopt sustainable and innovative financing mechanisms so as to attract more private investors to help accelerate the transition.
Timely announcement by the Energy Association of Kenya, ESAC, is in the build-up to the 27th session of the Conference of the Parties, COP27, in Egypt from 6th to 18th November 2022. ESAC now says Kenya needs to be at the forefront in fulfilling the promise of investing in renewable energy transition.
In this COP, the parties, the discussion in Egypt will make commitments and actually put some money into things like strengthening the grid and interconnections and making our grids more able to take in more renewable energy.
They have called on the government to adopt a financing mechanism that will include and inspire private investment in the plan if the move will be achieved quicker.
Both public sector and private sector work together in order to maintain the investments that are in the country and to attract a lot more.
To enable this realization, ESAC has also outlined grid enhancement as part of its measures to drive the renewable energy agenda, which includes the building of national transmission lines, regional interconnections, and enhancing grid stability to enable full utilization of resource potential.
The transition for us really is a bit different from, let's say, a market like South Africa where the grid is mostly based on coal. So for us, it's really what do we do to expand renewable energy while at the same time allowing us to have a stable, steady grid and also controlling or limiting the costs.
For Look at Business, Simba, Elijah Charles Kiag.
And 100 Women in Finance, a global nonprofit finance industry organization, on Friday launched its Kenya chapter at the Nairobi Security Exchange, spreading its 32 global network in the East African region. The organization aims to build a more diverse and gender-equitable finance industry by empowering women to find the personal path to career success. Eddie John Mukora with that report.
The launch of the East African chapter looks to push more women into leadership positions in the financial service sector, one that has been historically held by men.
Thank you very much. 100 Women in Finance, our mission is to empower women to achieve their professional potential for each career stage, and our guiding principle is our Vision 3040, where we want to see 30% of investment teams and executive leadership roles to be filled by women by the year 2040. We are also focused on inspiring, equipping, and advocating for the next generation of pre-career women.
Speaking during the launch, Central Bank of Kenya Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge has challenged the financial service sector to ensure that more women are in the top managerial position, adding the country had more to do, considering that only 3 banks have women chairpersons in their boards, representing 8% of the whole industry.
So the work of the 100 Women in Finance is clearly cut out, but we need all hands on deck, every man and woman, to ensure that we do not leave women behind, not just in finance, but also in other sectors.
Absa Bank Kenya CEO Jeremy Awori has underscored the importance of banks to create an enabling environment for women, with NSC CEO Jeffrey Odundo lauding the initiative, saying it will be impactful in creating equality in workplaces.
What it does on a serious note is it brings a different level of balance into the boardroom. You know, because whether we like it, men have blind spots, as do women have blind spots. But when you come together to run companies, you run them in a much more effective way. And I think you run them in a much more human way and a much more sustainable way, frankly. And I think that's why you find we're very passionate about what we're doing here.
We are committed to one key one, which is to really help establish a high level of corporate leadership for gender equity among listed companies. So this 36% that you're seeing was not that 5 years ago. We have actually been very deliberate, holding roundtables with CEOs and trying to tell them to be deliberate about it, and we're seeing that happening.
Edwin John Mukora, Look Up Business.
Moving on, the leading real estate developers Superior Homes Kenya PLC and Gulf African Bank have entered into a partnership that will enable home buyers to get mortgage financing at 11.75%. This new deal will be the lowest in the country among Sharia-compliant banks in Kenya.
Customers that will be looking to buy homes developed by Superior Homes Kenya, including Green Park in Athi River and Pazuri at Vipingo in Kilifi County, will access mortgage financing within 48 hours and enjoy up to 90% financing from Gulf African Bank, with a flexible finance repayment period of up to 20 years. Speaking during the signing of the partnership, Superior Homes Kenya Chief Executive Officer Shiv Arora noted that such partnerships will help boost home ownership dreams for more Kenyans.
This, other than just being our principal banker, we're also excited to be able to come up with innovative home ownership products, because it's really not just about the supply side in an economy. It's also about how do you encourage demand. When we look back at Kenyan interest rates and mortgage uptake over a couple of years, it's not been at the level that any government, bank, developer would want it to be. So there was need for competition in the sector towards driving interest rates down in a very transparent manner, rather than providing an interest rate cap.
With Kenya currently struggling to solve a housing deficit of approximately 2 million units per year, attributed to rapid urbanization and a high population growth rate, Gulf African Bank CEO Anuj Medirata noted that the deal will enable their customers access financing needed to purchase housing units that meet their needs of affordability and quality.
This is an extremely exciting partnership for us, because we believe Superior, who are the pioneers of master gated communities, and there's a lot of opportunities for us to partner together. As Gulf which is the leading Islamic bank in Kenya. We believe in inclusivity and financing under Sharia compliant financing, both customers and non-customers, and Muslims and non-Muslims under this product. We're looking at an 11.75% mortgage, which is the lowest in the market, 20-year tenors, and 48-hour turnaround time for approvals. So we believe this partnership will enable us also support the government agenda to provide housing for all.
Lisa Maina, Look Up Business.
Yeah.
Time now for some sporting action. Fireworks were witnessed in the ongoing Zone 5 International Handball Tournament, aired live on Lookuptv, which saw defending champions in the under-18 category Kenya bundled out in the semi-finals after Rwanda silenced the host by a score of 38-29. The heated tournament saw Uganda and Burundi in the under-20 category make it to the finals tomorrow at the Ulinzi Complex. And the new Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba has said he will embark on the road to get the Kenyan football back on track and wage a war against doping cartels after taking over from Amina Mohamed, who is making a return to the ministry. He served at the tail end of the Grand Coalition government in 2012, promised to start engaging all stakeholders to unlock the football crisis.
Challenges of all of us growing up together, working as a team, challenges of loss, but a lot of gain as well, and challenges of overcoming all that and knowing that the show must always, always go on. Nothing should stop it, because the whole country, 50 million strong, looks at sports as a way of bringing all of us together, of creating cohesion in our country.
I will be paying very keen attention to the measures that have already been proposed, put in place, so that we can find a solution to this gridlock. A solution that is in sync with the call by His Excellency President William Ruto of fidelity to the rule of law.
And that sporting action brings us to a close right here on Look Up Weekend. But as you usher in the weekend, Look Up TV